Hey y'all, this is Ned.
And this is Michelle.
We are myphilippinedreams.com. Sometimes in order to understand where we are, we have to look at where we've been. People are always asking us questions about relationships in the Philippines, how it's different than relationships in the West. So what we're going to do today is briefly, hopefully, because my backup computer can't handle the processing power of doing long videos, we're going to briefly look at some of the way things are the same compared to decades ago in the Philippines and the way some of the things are different.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're going to be looking at courtship. And that's actually terms that are still used in the Philippines, suitors and courtships, correct?
Correct.
Correct. That's something we don't really use in the West. It's like dating and going out and all that stuff. And actually, when you look at the history of it, from compared to decades ago to how it is today, the more things change, sometimes the more they stay the same. Back in the day, from all my research and from my chief consultant here, chief Philippine social consultant here, what I've determined is, back in the day, a potential suitor, a dude, we'll say, identified a woman, a young lady that he was interested in. He would identify her, and usually the thoughts that went into that were, they'd be looking first kind of like at social class. Was she of the same social class as him?
Not really. I think it's more on if he really likes her, I think.
Okay, well, yeah, he has to like her, first of all. He has to be interested in her, right? But you have to keep the idea of social class in mind.
Because the family could get in the way. I mean, the family would want someone of their class or higher.
Okay, so if a dude was of a lower class than the young woman in question or the woman in question, that could cause a problem, right?
Especially to the family of the girl.
Okay, so first, so you have to when he's identifying somebody he likes, he has to keep in mind, okay, am I the same social class or higher? Because the family's going to be concerned about that, right? Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing and what I understand, he basically has to court the family before he can actually court the Filipina.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay. And there's some certain sayings and stuff in Bisaya that when he's presenting himself to the family for consideration of dating or being a suitor to their daughter, he would say, I will cut the wood.
Mabuga o kahoy.
Yeah, or I'll carry the water.
Makabog tubig.
Right. And by saying that, he's trying to prove something to the family. And what is he trying to prove?
That he's worthy for the girl.
Okay. That he's not lazy. He's industrious.
Yes, and his intention is sincere. That he's sincere with his intention to the girl, and that's it. That he's.
Okay. And in carrying the water, it's carrying the water for them bathing.
Yes.
Bathing water. And cutting the wood is for the cook fires and all that stuff. So basically, again, you're having to court the family. You have to get the family's approval before you can actually do this. And if you don't get the family's approval, what can happen?
It's going to cause problem because in the Philippines, family plays a big part in the courtship. I mean, especially in the decision. Even until now, it still plays a big part because we Filipinos are we have a close, tight relationship with our family, and if one disagrees in the family, it's gonna cause
problems. And one of the problems it can cause is if the dude starts courting the daughter before their approval, the father can what? Chase him with a bolo. So yeah, that can cause problems. Like if he catches a serenading or something, he can come running out with the axe and chase him off and all that stuff. So it's always a good time. That was before Tagalog serial novellas and all that stuff, soap operas, so they had to do something to keep themselves occupied with drama. So again, we're looking for family approval. They have to prove themselves, doing chores, feeding the pigs and all that stuff. The family takes the person's social class at the time into consideration. And social class back then was basically determined through what land holdings they had, how productive their farms were, a number of cattle they had, pigs, chickens, all that stuff. How much that they could provide for their daughter. And they also looked at social class because people are always looking to advance their social class, right? And if the daughter is being courted by somebody of a higher social class, that would be cool because it brings up the family also, right? And that's kind of the same here because, you know, expats being perceived as some, you know, higher social class or whatever, or Filipino Americans being perceived as some higher social class, the family still believes that they rise with the daughter being in a relationship or being married to a foreigner or a Filipino American. The courting. The courting back then, some of the things they used to use was flowers, which I still haven't got, Michelle. Yes, I know where they are. They're by the public market, right where they chop up the pigs, right next to where they chop up the pigs and they cut the face off of the seasick. So I know where to get the flowers now. So they present flowers. They do love letters, and that's still done today. That's how things are still the same today, right?
I'm not sure about that. They use text messages.
No, we're talking flowers still.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about love letters.
No, flowers. So they still present flowers. Yeah. Love letters. They used to, you know, do the long love letters and, you know, all that stuff. And now it's kind of more like email and Yahoo Messenger, texting, Skype, that stuff. So the technology has changed, but the intention is still pretty much the same, right? On those two things, flowers and love letters.
With the love letters, I'm not sure about them.
I used to write you love letters, email. Okay. So another thing they used to do, which was different, was harana.
Harana, yes, serenading.
Harana, serenading. You know, and this is a carryover, I think, from Spanish times, and I think a lot of the courtship rituals are a carryover from Spanish times because they were here for 300 years?
300 years. 300
years. So this is a carryover. So the serenading, he gets the guitarra, mi canto, mi toc, mi mogi guitarra. And he serenades her in the open window, preferably at night, with the smell of hibiscus in the air. And hopefully he's got the family approval, because if he doesn't, the father will come running out with a bolo at this point, right? I like that. And also, he works for her. He carries her bathing water. He chops wood for her. He does little, you know, favors for her in order to win her favor. And this could take years. This process,
months to years.
Months to years. So that's one difference, because now it's a little more, it's quicker.
Yeah, like one night.
Yeah, you know. But back in the day, courting could take years. The process could take years, and there was no kissing and holding hands and all that stuff.
And whenever they go out, they have to bring chaperone with them.
Yes, and chaperones is something, sometimes, and I'm sure you guys have had experience with this, the first time you meet a Filipina, she'll bring along chaperones. But usually nowadays, they're not really there to keep an eye on things. It's more that they're getting a free meal, which is cool, you know. How many people can we bring to Jollibee or McDo? So again, looking at how things used to be with the courting process and how things are now. Some things have changed, but a lot of things have stayed the same. The technology has changed. The urbanization of the country, the big city areas, things are quicker, so things happen at a faster pace. But the idea of social class or perceived social class still exists. And that's a big consideration to always keep in mind. If you want a really good example of how the Philippines hasn't changed all that much in about 110 years, there's actually a great book you can get by Paul T. Gilbert over at the Project Gutenberg site. It's completely free. It's an EPUB. It's a electronic book, and it's called The Great White Tribe in Philippinia. And this is a guy who back in 1900, he graduated from Oxford and volunteered and taught in Mindanao for like 5 years, and it's just a travel log of his experiences. And some of the things you see, and he talks about courtship, he talks about family a lot, the physical structure and all that stuff. It's really an interesting read, and it's completely free. So that's basically all we got for courting and how, you know, more things change, more they stay the same. If you have anything you want to add, leave it down in the comment section. If you have any questions, do the same. You can check out our website. We'll be putting up a corresponding blog entry to this at some point. Until then, until next time, and this is Ned.
And this is Michelle.
And we are myphilippinedreams.com. Amping, Ingat, peace.